So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show.
Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross in the Self-Storage Show. In this segment, we're going to continue our self-storage talk series where I pick a couple questions from some forums and hey, we chat about it. So today, guest is Cynthia Ashby. How's it going?
Going wonderful, Jim.
Good. Here, take 30 seconds here at the top and just give me a little bio, who you are, who you're with right now. We'll start some questions here.
All right. Well, as Jim said, I am Cindy Ashby. I have been blessed to be in the self-storage industry now for over 25 years. Just amazes me. It's gone by so fast. I have literally worked self-storage facilities from California to Maine and from Washington to Puerto Rico. It's a fascinating industry with amazing people. I got my start literally as a manager and have grown in the industry to where I was a COO for a large group with over 185 facilities. Went off on my own and now am very happy to be a part of the Janus team, kind of rounding out my self-storage experience now with construction.
Nice. Yeah. You got a little taste of everything then, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that's why you're the perfect person for this kind of stuff, this kind of question here. So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Again, if I can read. I printed this off way too small. I'm getting too old. All right, here we go. Number one, I'm taking over several sites to be a regional manager. Sounds familiar? I have a blank slate, basically, and can run operations the way I see fit. Well, that's kind of cool. All right, any recommendations on how to properly communicate with a larger group that are spread out over several states?
Cool. This is a great question.
Yeah, I like that.
First off, I love a blank slate. Second off, I've done this a few times, but I appreciate that their number one concern is how do they communicate? Because let's face it, we've all seen companies rise and fall based on the communication or lack thereof.
Yep.
But I am, even though I love technology, a little bit old school in this area. And the first thing that I have always done is I'm out there. I want to see all of those facilities. And if there's under 100 of them, believe it or not, it's easier than you think. So I want to lay my eyes on those sites, primarily because I can put the property with the manager. I then would try to have, whether it be a small meeting room at a hotel, I have a dinner catered and I bring that team together. I want to lock eyes on these people. I want them to know that I'm there to help them, to hear them. And since we have a blank slate, let's build this together. You're a team now. I'm just coming in to help coach for a while. So let's build that together. Once I'm able to evaluate all of their strengths, then I'm able to see, do we really have the right people in the right places? We want to make the picture complete, so we've got to get them there. Once we've done that, technology is our friend. Just like we're doing today, it's all about Zoom. I was doing Skype meetings 6 years ago when you could only have 6 people at a time on there. It was crazy.
Nice.
So we would do that. I also had all of my district managers and team leads, one-on-ones. Make sure that you're having your group meetings at least once a month, because let's face it, hiding behind email is not the way to go.
Yeah.
It's too easy to misinterpret, misquote, and then end up misrepresenting or missing the feeling and the true spirit of what we're saying. So I can't tell you how many times I've hopped on, just like you and I are by ourselves right now. I've hopped on, dialed right into a store. Web cameras are cheap. Let's lock eyes. Let's talk this through. I want you to hear me.
Yeah. I'm curious, 'cause I want to jump in for a second. Like when you had like the group Skype calls, you were saying, what was your structure like? I'm really curious on that. How would you run those kind of meetings when you have a group? that's all on the same time.
So again, this is when it started back in the
Yeah.
day, you could only have 6 people on at a time. And so we would have everybody mute their mics. We would open it, and then we would have an order that they knew we would go around. So Joe, it's your turn first. Sally comes next. If somebody has something to say, they just use the chat and then they open it up, or raise your hand and I can say, okay, Sally, you speak. Go ahead. So yeah, it was no different than having it around a conference table, really. I mean, nobody's gonna just jump out there and take it over. So they pretty much wait. And does anybody have anything to say? Let's go.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've run into that when I've done some of these consultations, basically, and that's what I do. I do these kind of things when it comes to groups, because there are people all across the United States that we do this with. And I've just found that if you don't have an agenda ahead of time, that they kind of know what somewhat of the flow is going to be, then it's a bunch of silence. And it's almost like it reminds me of like in high school, like, don't call on me, don't call on me, don't call on me. They don't want to jump in, kind of a thing. So
but you're correct there. You have to have that agenda up front.
Yeah.
And they know what questions, what's your greatest, like ours would be, what was your greatest victory this past week?
There you go. Okay.
What was your greatest challenge? How did you overcome it? What would you do differently next time? What can I do? What resources can we provide to help you be better next week? So, they had set questions along with okay, how far are you from your goal? Are you going to make it? But it was very important for me to make sure that they always knew that last question was going to be, how can I help you achieve your goals?
Yep. And I think just the fact that, again, going back to this question, we said they're kind of spread out over several states. Again, I love the fact that you're there in person to get the ball rolling, but then you have to look at technology to use that leverage of keeping that communication going. And I think it's a great way of kind of building a community, quite frankly. I'm all about doing that anyway, but when you have like your small business that you're running several locations, you have to have something like this going where you're interactive at one time to help build that culture in that community.
Yeah, you don't want anybody out there feeling that they're an island.
Yep. I mean, I remember back in the day, as a manager, I felt like I was on an island by myself and just kind of making things up as I went along and hoping I was doing right.
But sometimes that was good for people like you and I.
Yeah. I wouldn't change it for the world, quite frankly. But that being said, there were still many times I wish there was something that I could plug into, of something a little bit bigger than myself at my own little island on my storage site that it would help, and then just having those kind of questions in that Q&A back and forth. So a lot to be said there.
I agree.
All right. We got a few more minutes here. Got enough time to squeeze another question here on you. Got time for one more?
I do.
All right. Number 2. All right. What are your thoughts on always having a move-in special, even if you're full? That's a good question too. So I get that sometimes in some forums I look at. So that's why I picked that. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a very loaded question, Jim.
It is, I know.
The first thing that popped into my mind is a store that's full. If I have a store that's full, then I'm not doing my job. So my goal is to get your occupancy down to around 88%. It's your job to get it back up to around 94. If our facilities are full, then we are not maximizing our revenue potential. We're not driving rates. We then are marketing in a negative fashion, because what happens now where Jim stores at Cindy's self-storage and his friend Matt comes up and says, hey, Jim, I know you've had storage for quite a while and I've got to store my stuff. Where should I go? Oh, well, you need to go to Cindy's storage because that is the best place to store. But if you need it right now, forget it because they're always full. That's not the message we want out there. That's no help to our community.
Yep.
So, no. And I'm going to play off of my no, I'm not full. I can't be full. In that case, yes, I always have a move-in special. Now, is that move-in special free rent all the time? No. Perhaps it is a little bit extra use, maybe a second use of free truck. Maybe it's driving my ancillary sales. And so I'm offering the first $25 in moving and packing supplies for free.
Yep.
Maybe I'm running a community special and we've picked 3 local charities and we're donating the admin fee to that. We've got something that is going to start drawing you in. You are new. We know you're going to stay longer. Of course, we're going to offer some type of a special. So,
yeah, you're not on the same page on that. It's in marketing terms, it's a call to action. That's
it's a lost leader. That's why they've got those lost leaders out there. They know what it does. You know, Dish, do you think Dish or cable TV or any of the cell phone companies care how many customers they have or that they might need to add bandwidth or whatever they have to do? No, they're offering you a special.
I want to highlight this real quick because I don't want people to just skim past it. I love the fact that you had that kind of that push-pull relationship of it's your job to drive it down to 88% and it's the manager's job to bring it back up to 94, whatever, kind of in that range. That's a great way to look at it because that's part of being on the team. That's part of the.
That's right. That's right.
It really is. It's a simple way of looking at it. So actually, that one sentence kind of put a lot of things in focus. Just for me, people get a lot of value out of that. That's great.
Once you've got it to 94, you've just tossed the ball back into my court.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And again, it's that push-pull relationship. I really like that. And again, going back to. Just the way that they phrase that, as far as like having move-in specials, I guarantee you, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I guarantee they're probably getting some pushback from the owners because I get that. Owners like, well, why are we having specials when we're right here, we're where we want to be. That's just part of marketing. That's where you have to look at it. That just dovetails right into your marketing message. Is the special,
Absolutely.
And you play with it, like you said, it doesn't always have to be the same special for every single size. Not necessarily. You can play around with it on different size codes or just play around with it in general on what you like, but just something to motivate them to take the next step to rent.
There's a very sad reality out there and somebody that we don't like to speak of often, but they have an orange color to them. And I will ask them, I'll ask owners and I ask managers, who is the biggest in this industry? And they will name that company. And then I say, and what are they known for? $1 movement.
$1 movement special, exactly.
So you think they got that big by holding back on specials?
Exactly.
They obviously they know what they're doing.
Yep.
And who also gets put down and people get frustrated because they raise rates higher and faster than anybody in the industry.
Yep.
So,
and I think we can learn from that as well. You shine a light on them, look at it. I mean, not to do a shameless plug, but hey, shameless plug here for a second. The next virtual summit I'm doing is Beat the REITs. And the whole point of that is to kind of shed a light on what are they doing? Let's analyze it and not demonize it, not be like, oh, look at them, point fingers. They're there for a reason, where they're at right now. So let's see what's working for them and then turn it around and make it work for ourselves. So when it comes down to movement specials, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
And I got to tell you, I am so honored that you have asked me to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to it because I've got some great ideas for that.
Cool. No, it's going to be a blast. So anyway, for these couple questions, I think we've answered them pretty well. I'll leave it at that. I got tons of questions. We're going to do this again. Anytime you want to come back on, we're going to do some more.
Sounds great, Jim. Thank you. And thank you to all of you that are listening out there to this, because that's what makes our job fun. I am passionate about doing self-storage right. And probably the only thing I'm more passionate about is helping others to do likewise. So thanks
Well,
for listening. And Jim, thanks for having me.
well, that's great. So, well, on that note, for people that want more information and need some more help, how they get in touch with you?
You can reach me at cynthia.ashby@janusintl.com.
Easy enough. All right, I'll put that in the show notes too to make it quick and easy for everybody. So,
That sounds great.
cool.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, till next time. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Self Storage Show. Would you like some free stuff? Go to 3milestorage.com/free to find a list of items you can get for free that will help you dominate your 3-mile market. There you'll find our free ebook, the Every Call Counts sales script, how to join our Facebook community, access to the next showing of the 3-day online summit, and whatever else we can think of to bring value to you and your self-storage business. So go to 3milestorage.com/free and enjoy.